The details on that story. Moving on now to another exclusive. Yash caught up with Andreas Hettich, global CEO of Hettich, who says that India is the company's second largest market after Germany, contributing to about 10% of global sales. Listen in to commentary coming in about the company's business outlook here in India.
We're still looking at double-digit growth, and the market is still growing because we are quite close to the basic needs. So furniture and kitchen are some basic needs, and therefore we still see the organized sector getting some share from the unorganized sector. So organized sector probably growing by 20-30%. And we see always a bigger share for Hettich, so growing even faster. But even the unorganized sector, we see some growth. But in the recent year, yes, we are a little bit unsure, probably might be a bit less, but then probably picks up next year again.
What kind of contribution does Hettich India give to the global, which is the parent company? And how do you see that contribution going? To what point do you see that contribution growing in the next couple of years?
So already today, India is our second largest market after Germany. So we see a lot of growth. India probably contributes around 10% of global sales. And we see that this share will increase every year a little bit.
To what point would that a little bit and going down next couple of years, 3 years?
In the end, for sure, it depends also on how the other markets are developing. We're talking about what's the contribution of India. I can imagine that India probably over the next 5-10 years will have 20-25% of global sales.
Going forward, where do we see investments coming? What kind of expansion, what kind of new plans do we see Hettich India putting, and what is the quantum of investing for the next 2 to 3 years?
So in the first 10 years of our joint venture, we focused on marketing and sales. So we invested heavily in brand building, in building the infrastructure, the distribution network, and then we started to put up plants here. So we started in Baroda with one factory for baskets, then a second one for telescopic channels, and now here in Indore we set up our largest factory around the world. The biggest investment we ever made in a hinge factory. So we are doing a staged investment. So we are now in phase 1 here. We already invested around 50 million euros. In our factories, and we plan to invest another 50 million over the next 2-3 years to expand the capacity.
What kind of revenue have you been clocking in the previous 3 years, financial years? What is the understanding in terms of the revenue that you expect in the current financial year?
So, frankly, I'm not 100% familiar with the figures in India. So it's we are touching 100 million euros in sales, and so we will add at least 10-15 million every year in sales.